Hey, this is Sam Black with my second match with Duskwatch Recruiter Ramp in Standard. I'm on the play, a very solid hand. Have an early play into Explosive Vegetation, which will of course make this creature bigger, and then a Hydra. Plenty of time to find follow-up if that's not good enough. My opponent is on 6 cards, and I'm on the play. Looks like I am presumably playing against the Pertra winning green-white tokens deck. Oh, maybe it's Band Company or something else. Could be the Human Company deck. I could sacrifice Evolving Wilds and not find, but I think I'm okay giving my opponent a land here. So now I already have a full-size Sylvan Advocate. So if I attack, my opponent can block with Knight and Tireless Tracker. I think I'm actually fine trading this for Tireless Tracker. Alright, that'll work. I was thinking if I drew Nissa's Pilgrimage, then the Rogue's Passage would just be lethal, but I suspect Ulamog can get the job done. Alright, so I think Duskwatch Recruiter is at its best against the black decks, basically, the ones that can answer my threats well. I think it's not what I want to be doing here. I think I do want a lot of Atarkas, and trying to decide if my opponent is fast enough that I want Pacifist, or if I can get away with Tireless Tracker here. I think on the draw I want Pacifist. But let's see, I could cut my other tracker for another Pacifist. if I'm really worried about that direction, but my opponent is clearly making creatures bigger. There's an argument to just having a mix to minimize the chance of getting destroyed by Reflector Mage, locking creatures in my hand. Sylvan Advocate likely fights a lot worse than Lambholt Pacifist for most of the game when I don't have a perfect explosive vegetation draw. I think I want to be something like this. I actually think Matter Reshaper is going to be better than Tireless Tracker. I think my opponent is good enough at picking off Tireless Tracker with a Dromoku's Command or something, and I'd rather just get the value rather than having the mana sink to grind, because again, my opponent's not really disrupting me. This is basically just about me living long enough to cast a big thing before my opponent's creatures have gotten out of hand with Elia's Lieutenant, basically. This'll work. It's not a perfect hand, but it's not far off. If I just draw one of my sorceries, then my hand is great. It's a really bad idea to flip main phase there. If I had a Lambholt Pacifist, for example, here, my opponent might find themselves in a spot where they don't actually want to flip. But obviously it's not going to matter. I guess the reason to flip is if you think that I have Fiery Impulse, then it stops me from killing this in response. Yeah, I could see it in this spot. It's not that bad if I play a Pacifist, because you can just spend the 2 mana and trade. Alright, well, the Dromoku's Command was bad for me, but drawing Explosive Vegetation was good. It's likely too slow, though, especially if my opponent can make a play or two here with this thing. And of course, if they don't, it just means that company is happening, which is not much better for me. That's basically the same as making 2 plays. That's not good. Do not think I'm going to win this one. I'm just dead. Alright. Maybe this is a little too heavy. See a case for Thought-Nazi here, especially on the play, when it can take Gideon or Collected Company. Going for a bit of diversification, the thing that I was talking about regarding Reflector Mage factoring in. It's really tempting to block, but I'm not going to. Recruiter feels good on this board. That said, I'm just going to trade it off. Hopefully that'll be good enough. Tarka on that board. Yeah. So that game was basically about, I mean, the one decision I made was deciding that I wasn't going to need to grind with Duskwatch Recruiter. I just needed to use it to buy time to get a target down. And I could have traded off with Recruiter or the Pacifist, and I decided to trade off with Recruiter because I felt like the Pacifist was going to be better at blocking stuff and buying time for a target to win. And if I could catch that, I didn't really need the grinding power of the Recruiter. And Explosive Vegetation was the perfect card to reward that line. This matchup feels somewhat play draw dependent, but that's, obviously potentially results oriented here, but that's just the data I have to work with.